What is antisemitism? If you say, Heil Hitler, the Jews are our ruin, boycott Israel, you are most likely an antisemite. If you say, I boycott Israel because I don't like its politics, and of course, I try to boycott China even more, because otherwise I'd feel silly. You are not an antisemite. If you don't hate Jewish people and yet believe that George Soros leads refugees to Europe, you are not an antisemite either. Or if you don't like his Open Society Foundation and don't want to believe that it's completely about idealism and democracy, it doesn't mean that you hate Jewish people. If something bad happens and you say, it must have been Israel, that might be about antisemitism, unless you could really say why it, because if you really say something that where it would make a lot of sense that it was Israel and not China or I don't know what. If something bad happens and you say it must have been the American military, that could possibly be about anti-American racism. Even if you hold a big party in the middle of a pandemic, it doesn't mean that you're a Nazi or an anti-Semite or whatever. Let's assume that Corona is real. You wish that you could visit a disco, a pub, or a library without any restrictions. What would you say? Would you say, I want to go to a disco? Corona is from Wuhan anyway. Or would you say, I want to go to a disco? Corona doesn't exist anyway. And believe me, I understand if you don't want to have a vaccination that they made a short time ago. Remember the swine flu scandal? The side effects of the vaccination? To quote Wikipedia, the WHO began an investigation to determine whether it had frightened people unnecessarily. Google the following. Swine flu pandemic declared by WHO was a waste of money. That's from the website of the Times. In German, you'd have to Google Schweinerei mit der Grippe. That's from the website of the Zeit. Or Nebenwirkung Vertrauensschwund. That's from the website of the Spiegel. But if you assume, let's assume that Corona is real. What would have been the inspiration? I don't know. So if being against the Corona restrictions and vaccinations does not mean that you are a right-wing extremist, they say that right-wing extremists visit those demonstrations too. There's a German comedy show. I think it was a Heute show or Extra 3 or something. They say something like, imagine Bill Gates says, you're correct and I'm an alien too. The conspirancy theorists couldn't feel smarter than the rest of the world anymore. I do not say that you have to like the conspiracy theories about Corona or the demonstrations. But if Olaf Scholz would say, you're correct, there's no Corona, you have to get vaccinated, nonetheless, because I'm trying to kill you, would you join a protest against that? Or would you accept it? Only because right-wing extremists would not like it either. So now, what is antisemitism? Jews are both a religion and a people. Christians did hate Jews at times, because Jews aren't Christian. The Nazis hated Jews because they say that Jews are more evil than others, genetically. And that is anti-Semitism.